Hello everyone, we are Hui and Cheng. Today, we are going to present Beethoven Symphony No. 3 in E flat major, the first movement.
Ludwig van Beethoven composed Eroica in 1803 to 1804. It was first performed on 7th April 1805 at Vienna Theatre in Denver. The orchestration is unique as it uses three horns. He was already experiencing hearing loss when he composed this work, which he also wrote the Heiligenstadt Statement earlier in 1802. It was named after the hero Napoleon Bonaparte, who Beethoven had admired at first during the French Revolution in 1789. This symphony was a turning point in Beethoven's career during the Middle Period, as it was musically innovative and interesting. Critics and early listeners viewed the Eroica as a bizarre but original composition, more sublime than beautiful. The unprecedented length, technical challenges, were beyond entertainment, forcing Beethoven's contemporary to rethink what a symphony should be and do. Ultimately, Beethoven's own personal struggles with his hearing loss was what inspired him to compose this revolutionary work. This work was the most expensive piece he had composed that is tight and closely unified.
This slide shows a picture of the Vienna Theatre, where Beethoven had conducted this symphony for the first time in public. The structure of the first movement is in sonata form. As you can see, it is divided into 5 sections. Exposition, which include the first and second subjects. Development, recapitulation, and coda with the indicated measures. The first subject is in E flat major. Second subject is in the dominant key, which is B flat major. The development section does not have a fixed key as it is constantly modulating. The recapitulation and coda are both in the tonic key of E flat major. This quotation shows that Beethoven was in great depression due to his hearing loss. It was through writing music that his sanity was preserved, since art was the only driving force for him to live on.
I will be presenting the recommendation for stylish performances in the first violin. This is bar 61 to bar 83, transition passage in the exposition from G minor to B flat major. The mood is lively. The reason why I choose this excerpt to play because it is challenging and the bow changes quickly. Because of the mood of this excerpt, the tempo is fast. Lastly, staccatos and semiquaver notes are seen almost everywhere. Why is this challenging? Firstly, change of articulation, such as staccato and slur. Secondly, the tempo gradually gets faster towards the end with tremolo in the semiquavers. Thirdly, there are many accidentals to take note. Fourthly, change of hand position, wide range of notes. Finally, the high notes with octaves.
I will be playing this passage from bar 109 to 131. This passage is in the dominant key of B flat major, and it is found in the exposition. The reason why I chose this excerpt to play is because there's a slow build-up of chords that ends very powerfully with forzando. This passage is also moving forwardly with direction. Why is this challenging? Firstly, the sudden change of articulation such as forzando on certain notes. Secondly, there are many changes of accidentals. Thirdly, the chords towards the end must be played evenly. Lastly, the speed is relatively fast to play. I will be playing this transition passage in A major, which is found in the exposition. This is bar 195 to 214. I chose this to play because it is an exciting passage filled with syncopation, ascending and descending sequence. Why is this challenging? Firstly, the syncopated passage must be in pulse. Secondly, the high notes such as the octaves must be in tune, followed by the cross strings and the abrupt changes of dynamics such as crescendo and fortissimo. Next, Hui will be comparing three different editions. The first edition is published by Cianchetti and Sporetti in 1809. The second edition is published by Breitkopf and Hertel in 1862. And the last edition is published by the Henry Leitoft Verlag in 1880.
Comparison of editions. First of all is dynamics. In the first edition, in the bar 10, substanto was only seen in violin 1 but not in violin 2. In second edition, in bar 10, substanto was seen in both violins. In third edition, in bar 10 of first movement, substanto was seen in violin 1 and 2. In the first edition, in the bar 65, fortissimo is seen in violin 1. In second edition, forte in violin 1 and violin 2. In third edition, forte in violin 1 and violin 2. Secondly is the articulation, slur. In the first edition, from bar 22 to 23 in violin 1, the A major and B flat notes are not slurred but played separately. In the second edition, in the same bar, A major and B flat notes are slurred together. In the third edition, same as second edition. In the first edition, in Violin 1, there are two thirds in bar 99 and 100. In the second edition, there is no third in Violin 1 in bar 99 and 100. In the third edition, same as second edition. The third one is additional bar numbers. In the first edition, in bar 152 of Violin 1, there is a bar of rest. In bar 153, there is a quiver rest followed by quiver notes. In the second edition, in bar 152 of Violin 1, an A-flat note is seen followed by two quarters, which is different from first edition. In bar 153, there were two extra quartet rests with a quartet note, which is different from the first edition. In the third edition, same as second edition. Number 4. Number of rests. In the first edition, in bar 216 of Violin 2, there is the quiver rest followed by a quarter rest. In the second edition, in bar 214 of Violin 2, only quarter rest was written. This is different from the first and third edition. In the third edition, in bar 214 of Violin 2, a quiver rest and a quarter rest was written, the same as first edition.
In conclusion, there were slight differences in all the three editions. Some differences were not easy to spot, especially in the first edition, where the notes were very small to see. These are the references that we have used for our presentation. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.